Hello and welcome to Shoot the Defense on FNX, brought to you by Pitch DMM, the app that lets fans rate their own team's performance. I'm your host, Stel, and my co-host, as ever, is Mr. Yannikis J. How you doing, young man?
I'm all right, man. I got man flu, but apart from that, I'm all right.
Listen, I'm not trying to be funny, right? But all the time you see and hear about women saying, oh, you men, you always make a big deal about this whole man flu thing. And here you are, just, reinforcing that stereotype. Grow some balls, for fuck's sake.
Absolutely. I'm just making their statements correct. That's all. I'm just,
Why? Is it because your missus is next to you and she'll batter you?
Yeah, something like that. Can we move on now?
Yeah. There you go. I was going to introduce Rodri, but I don't know where he is at the moment. He says he's busy doing something or other.
Yeah, he's probably in a pie, mate.
Yeah, or maybe a chip shop. Yeah, that's a point. That's a point. Yeah, that's a point. So yeah, shall we do some odds on whether Rod is eating a pie or fish and chips? I don't know. Anyway, joining us tonight are three returning guests who host their own podcasts. Introducing first, host of the Playmakers podcast, Connor Dunford. How you doing, Connor?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Cheers for having me back on. It's a pleasure to come back.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you on. And as a Southampton fan, I hope you enjoyed last week's show where we kind of compared Huddersfield to Shane Long.
Yeah, that did. I'll be honest, that's insulting to Huddersfield.
Say no more, mate. Say no more. Great to have you on. Right, special guest number 2 is co-host of the D&D Footy Factory on Top FM. It's Double D. Welcome back, monsieur. Comment ça va?
Très bien.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
Again?
Still recovering.
Oh, boy, you don't sound like you've got a hangover.
But still got to celebrate that. Now, that's because I was tucking into some food, so that's kind of balanced me out a bit.
Ah, okay. What have you got?
Never drink on an empty stomach.
No, true. Got to seal it up. Do you know what I mean?
but good to be back on. It's always a laugh on here.
Great to have you on, mate. Great to have you on.
Great stuff. Yeah.
And our third guest is co-host of the Three in Midfield podcast, Footy Says, and BBC Asia Network. Michael, otherwise known as Coach Kojo. Welcome back, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Man. I'm delighted. I'm in a good mood. Yeah, BBC and everything. Yeah. I'm here, man. I'm here.
Oh, cool. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me again, man. Anytime.
Nice, an absolute pleasure. Before we continue, again, congratulations on your gig at the BBC. What was that like?
It was, it was a lot more relaxed than I thought it would be, which is good because they make you feel comfortable, and they don't make you feel like you're coming to do something for the BBC. So there's a lot of pressure, kind of thing. It was just really fun, really enjoyable experience, and the great thing is they like to give opportunities to other people. So they've already told me that they're going to try and get me back on. The woman that got me on called Huma, she gave me a call not long after I left saying, how was it? And, we're going to hound you and try and get you on again. So, it's fun, man. It's fun. It was a great experience and something that I would do again in a heartbeat, and I'd recommend to everybody else.
So we're going to have to nickname you Mr. BBC from now on, yeah?
My mom calls me that already.
Nice.
Yo, what?
Nice. That's how you know you've done Mumsy proud. She's changed your name. See?
Yeah, it's true. She's like, oh, you went for the BBC, Michael, Mr. BBC. I'm like, oh, here we go.
I heard that's what your girlfriend calls you also.
Oh my lord. Oh man.
I was going to say that kind of show, but we've changed everything. So say what you want.
Sorry, this is meant to be a family show. I apologize.
We've changed that now. Forget that.
Can't be a family show. Stel's on.
Behave yourself. I know all about you. Don't worry. Right. Listen, those of you who've been listening to the show since its inception know that I feel a little bit uneasy discussing topics surrounding tragedies in the game. So I'll keep this as short as possible. Not because I don't think they aren't newsworthy, but I think they've been covered enough on other platforms. Plus, we don't know the full facts, so let's just leave it at that. But what I will say is, on behalf of everyone associated with the FNX network, we offer our condolences to the families and friends of those involved in Saturday's helicopter crash, and send all the well wishes we can to Glenn Hoddle, who I believe is back home now, and he's he's chatting again, which is good. Which is good. Now, I'm not sweeping these stories under the carpet. I just feel that it's too soon to be delving into something like this. I mean, some of us don't feel the need to be obituary ITKs, nor do we believe in making a name for ourselves off someone's misfortune. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that, shall I? I think it's a bit fair, isn't it?
Well said, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I had other things to say, but I'm going to keep them to myself because it's a family show, apparently. So, yeah. Anyway, I think we'll kick off the show with our quiz. Let's do that because it's usually upbeat. And it's the quiz that has no name. And the reason why it has no name is because we couldn't think of a name. So we just called it the quiz that has no name.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Now, for those of you listening and those of you who haven't played before, Connor, I'm sure you've played when you've been listening to the podcast. I hope you have anyway.
Yeah, I get it wrong every time. So.
Okay, well, hopefully you do better in this one. Now, I've picked 3 games from past season, which happens to be 2014, 2015.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you guys the results, and all you guys have to do, I'll give the answers being the players who scored the goals.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll read you the results, and then at the end of the show, we'll go back to them, yeah?
Yeah.
So, season 2014-15, Manchester United won, Chelsea won. Oh, and Jan's going to go, 2014-15?
Wait, was that the season when we had that 1-0 loss at Stamford Bridge as well, when they had the ball for like, I don't know how long?
Yes. I think it was. Yeah, that was a Van Gaal season.
Okay, then I remember that season. Yeah,
There you
that
go.
was.
I know the scorers.
Yeah, so do I. That was
Okay, you got
No, you don't do it now, Mike.
Oh, sorry.
Do it at the end. Do it at the end, mate.
Woo. Okay, my bad.
right.
I've played this before as well. Sorry.
Right, the second game, West Ham 2, Man City 1. Back when Man City didn't concede 2 goals in a game. Right. Next game, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Newcastle United 2. I also have a bonus result, but I'm going to leave that to the end if the scores are even, which I hope they will be, because it makes it a bit more interesting, doesn't it?
Was that Tottenham Newcastle, you said?
Yes, sir. Spurs 1, Newcastle 2.
Spurs
At the
1,
Chick
Newcastle
King Arena.
2.
Yes. I don't remember who was in charge at Newcastle. It might have been Pardew. May have been. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, let's kick off the show. A game that just finished. Spurs lost to Manchester City at home at the NFL Arena. You know what? To be fair, lads, I watched as much of that game as I possibly could. After 15 minutes, I thought City were going to absolutely storm Spurs. Spurs had really nothing going forward.
Nope.
Sissoko, Lamela were dreadful. Lucas didn't get a kick, really. Sanchez was just passing the ball to Lloris and Alderweireld. Jan, you watched the game in full. What did you make of Spurs' performance? Let's talk about Spurs first.
I don't think Tottenham were at their best tonight. City controlled a lot of the possession. Were the better side of the night, deserved to win. Saying that, Lamela's chance right at the end is a gilt-edged chance, and he's got to take it and at least give Tottenham a point. I thought City were controlled, to be honest with you. I mean, you can argue the pitch wasn't great, but the pitch was on both sides, so you can't use that as an excuse. But there was just too much quality on the City side, and like I said, they controlled the game. Sterling had a really good game. Fernandinho, I thought, bossed it in the middle of the park as well. I thought he was really good, just sitting in front of the back 3 or back 4 as City played, and and City kind of hardly gave a lot away. Like I said, it was only kind of a few chances Tottenham had in the whole game. Kane had one in the first half where, if his touch is better, he's through on goal, and maybe kind of dinks it over Ederson, but he doesn't. Ederson comes out and puts in like a good tackle. But Tottenham huffed and puffed, but City deserved to win.
Double D, I need to ask you this because it's been playing on my mind for the past few weeks. I really rate Fernandinho. I think what he does,
Quality.
he does the simple things. He's got an engine. He's strong. He's physical. Okay, Gary Neville says he's not good in the air, but that's by the by. Now I know a lot of people are going to scoff at this, but when are we going to start saying he is just as important as how Makelele was at Real Madrid? Because let's be honest, Real Madrid, did they win the Champions League with Makelele in the team? I believe they did, didn't they?
Yeah, 2002.
So,
didn't they? Yeah.
are we saying that City have to win the Champions League for Fernandinho to be rated as high as Makelele? Because let's be honest, he does a similar job and does it just as well.
Exactly. And no, he's definitely unless you've got that eye, or you're a purist rather, he's definitely an underrated footballer. And the thing is as well is that back when he was at Shakhtar, he actually played further forward, so he kind of learned that role a bit more. Bit by bit, obviously, after coming to City, but he's a really good player. And as you said, he's just as important as the Bruynes and the Silvers of this world, because he is he's their deepest lying midfielder, whatever team they play. Yeah, but really, 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 really good player. It's only because of the fact that maybe the likes of Casemiro, etc., and Renato Augusto maybe get more goals. That he hasn't got more caps for Brazil. Fernandinho's quality bossed the game today. Tottenham were rather abject anyway, but they weren't allowed to pick up their game until late on, as Yannick said with the Lamela chance, for instance. Eriksen, Ali gave them a bit more. Ali was willing to try and take people on, but I don't know what it is this season. Tottenham are just... they don't seem to be quite all there, but this is the problem sometimes with stats, because this has been their best start. Before today, this was their best start to a Premier League season, but even Poch did a talk before the game, and he said that he's been his worst feeling since he's been at Tottenham, but yet it's been their best start to the season. So all doesn't seem right there. And with Son, Ali, and Eriksen all on the bench, it's like as though it was a bit of self-sabotage on Poch as well. I'm not sure he wants to be there too much longer. And seeing as Lopetegui got sacked today, he might be lining himself up for a little move to Spain.
Could well be there, mate. Could be a very good shout. Kojo, you being the tactician that you are, did City do anything different than you expected? Because for me, it just seems that Guardiola now knows how to close games out when it's a low scoreline.
Yeah, no, they did what they like to do, which is keep the ball and just try and control the game as much as possible. I was just very disappointed that Spurs were down by a long ball. That was pathetic defending, absolutely pathetic. And
here comes the coach.
Yeah, and apart from the Lamela chance, and actually Kane's one as well, because that was another long ball from Tottenham side, and then again poor defending, and then he had one pass from Lamela straight to Kane. Lukaku touched, so he obviously didn't score. So yeah, but no, they did exactly what they do. I mean, that's the thing about City, is that if you allow them to keep the ball, they're gonna be very comfortable trying to score goals or trying to close the game out. They're very smart. The tactics are spot on. And actually, with Fernandinho, you guys talking about that, I'm not his biggest fan, but one thing I do like about him is that he's so tactically aware and he knows how to slow games down. Whether that would be in terms of the passing or whether it's just like disrupting the other team's tempo by conceding smart fouls just to make sure the game slows down a little bit. He's good at that kind of thing. So they were comfortable, man. And Tottenham, I worry for Tottenham. I think they're going to finish outside the top four at this rate, only because I know it's early, but in terms of how they have operated so far and the way they don't have to deal with the squad rotation. I mean, Kane's been tired for at least 6 months now, but he's still playing, and then the lineup today was poor, in my opinion. So really, City were comfortable. They had no problem.
Absolutely. And Connor, Kojo mentioned Harry Kane. He only had really a half chance tonight, which is that poor touch, which Ederson sorted out. They really do need someone to give him that support. I know that Ali has been injured, Son's been out, as has Eriksen. But let's be 100% honest, mate. He needs possibly a strike partner to give him that kick up the arse.
Yeah, I think the problem they've got is where he's so key, so pivotal, they can't... He's almost irreplaceable for them, isn't he? I mean, who can you bring in that's going to do the job he does? Because the work he does off the ball is just as important as the work he does on the ball. Although not quite today. They've got Llorente, but then you kind of look at the market and go, who's capable of filling those boots even 60, 70% when he's out, that's willing to come and play second fiddle to him, and they're just not about, are they? They're just not. I think, from a personal point of view, we signed Danny Ings from Liverpool, and he was probably could have been a prime target for them because he would have been happy to play second fiddle to Kane, get the game time he can, and he's got a bit of quality about him, even a Sturridge from Liverpool, dare I say it. But I think that's the issue they've got, that no one's going to want to come into that team.
No, absolutely. Well, City's win puts them top of the league. They're now ahead of Liverpool on goal difference. I think they've got eight better when it comes to the goal difference. So they've scored 7 more and conceded 1 less. And speaking of Liverpool, they made it 26 points out of a possible 30 with a rampant 4-1 victory over Cardiff. He started, birthday boy. Relax. You need to relax. I can't keep having you on when you keep going on with Liverpool win. Well, Klopp's men appeared to be stuck in second gear before the introduction of Shaqiri. And once the Swiss international came on, Liverpool stepped into 6th, blitzing Neil Warnock's men with 3 goals in 20 minutes. Birthday boy, I doubt many Liverpool fans believe the Swiss international will get much game time, let alone change the scope of matches the way he's done as of late. Do you think Klopp is thinking about giving him a place in the starting lineup? And if so, where would he fit in?
This is the thing, still. Shaqiri, I was fully behind. I think it was absolute steal. And I'm just happy that he picked us over your boys over at United, because he just brings something different to the team. He's willing to shoot from long range. He can pass the ball. He can beat a man. Good on set pieces. And it's actually worked out for him well that we weren't able to get Nabil Fekir from Lyon. And with the amount of chances that Arsenal concede, he could be very close to starting on Saturday, because between the line, he just offers something different. We played him against in the Red Star game in Europe, and obviously because Fabinho provides such good protection for the back four, it allows the midfielders to be a bit more assertive in their approach. And we played a 4-2-3-1 in that game. So like Salah was the front man, but Salah never stays in the box anyway, goes out wide, kind of interchanges with Firmino. And that might just be the formation, because he's doing so well and impacting every time he comes off the bench that you have to look at it now that it's probably best to give him a couple more starts. But yeah, I fully wanted him. I think he's always been a quality player, regardless of being on the bench at Bayern and being sold by Inter. And you can't just discredit a player or think they're not good enough just because he went to go play at Stoke, because you saw that he would still press for them, he'd still score spectacular goals for them and win them some games by himself. And he's come in and he's settled really quickly, and it's a joy to see.
Absolutely. And Mo Salah, people saying that he's out of form. I don't understand where they're getting this from. It confuses me. It really, really does. I mean, 59 appearances, 39 goals for Liverpool. It's incredible how, okay, now he had a great season last year, and he's only got 5 goals in the league this season, 5 in 11, which really isn't bad, taking into consideration how many goals a certain Lukaku has scored this season.
I thought we were going to mention him today.
Oh, yeah, take the L. Take the L. But Kojo, Liverpool have won all 19 home matches that Mane has scored in, mate. Salah stole the headlines last season, but Mane has been absolutely superb since signing from Southampton. Do you think he gets enough credit?
I rate Mane over Salah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because you said it right there in terms of the record, but in general, his overall play for me is better than Salah's overall play. Salah has had a phenomenal season and a third so far, because he's a ruthless finisher. He's a goal scorer, 100%. But in terms of Liverpool's overall play, when you watch them play, Salah doesn't contribute too much in terms of the overall play of the team, because a lot goes through Mane, and Mane, his direct running, his off the ball movement, and just his impact in games is crazy. And this weekend was an example for me. The way he fought back for the ball and licked it straight past the goalkeeper. I was like, yeah, this guy, he's pure evil. He's pure evil. And the funny thing about English football in general is when Van Dijk was at Celtic. When he was being linked with English clubs, we were told he plays for Celtic. He can't do nothing here. And then when Mane was linked with Man United, I can speak for Man United fans because Man United fans are like some of them are pure idiots. When we were linked with Mane, a lot of them were saying, "What do you want Mane for? He plays for Southampton." Da, da, da. Doesn't matter who they play for. All it matters is the quality that they bring towards the team, and that guy, for me, is the piece in the jigsaw of Liverpool's attack. And I said this last season that if he got injured in the Champions League final and Salah didn't, I feel like Liverpool wouldn't have scored in that final. I feel like Mane is so dangerous and so good to watch. So, yeah, he's not respected enough. And it kind of annoys me, even though I hate the club, but it kind of annoys me. So, yeah, they should put more respect on his name, man. Like, he's a good footballer, very good footballer.
Oi, chicken boy, calm yourself down.
What do you mean calm yourself down, brother?
About you hate the club. Let's not turn this into a Liverpool Man United war, bro. You get me? We'll get we'll get taken off the airwaves.
Listen, there's no war here. You're doing well, we're trash. It's okay. Leave it there.
One thing I'll add on Mane as well is, for me, watching him, I don't think he's actually improved that much since he left us, because he was doing all the same things at Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
He's scoring more goals, if anything, for Southampton, considering the kind of service he has. I think he's a piece of a bigger jigsaw, isn't he? Now the spotlight's on him a bit more, so he's getting noticed. And I think, like you say, there was a bit of a noses turned up when he was linked to the bigger clubs. But when you're quality, and it doesn't matter.
The thing is, when Liverpool signed Mane, the first thing I thought was, well, that was around about the time where Liverpool really struggled to kill off the lesser sides.
Yeah,
he's the kind of player that you bring in, like United did with Berbatov. Berbatov wasn't brought in because Ferguson wanted a £30 million striker. He wanted someone that could score against your Boltons, your West Brom, who was struggling to finish it. And Mane is doing exactly that. If Salah doesn't perform, or Firmino, then you best know that this guy's going to put in a performance. And speaking of Mane, his former club Southampton were held to a goalless draw by Newcastle, who had goalkeeper Dubravka to thank for keeping them in the game with a string of fine saves. Connor, your boys Southampton are without winning 6 and haven't scored in the last 5 games. Are you more frustrated than concerned at the moment? It isn't as if Southampton aren't creating chances.
We're definitely frustrated, and we're definitely concerned. Probably more concerned than frustrated. Ings is our top scorer at the moment. He's got 4. And you've only got Højbjerg, Butcher, and Austin who have actually scored from the squad. Mark Hughes has came in March. 3 league wins since he took over then. 1 at home, that was against Bournemouth last season. And away at Swansea, that one Gabbiadini kept us up. And then we beat Palace 2-0 this season at Palace. But as we all know, they're awful at home this season. A few weeks ago, we had the 3rd most shots behind City and Chelsea, but the 2nd worst conversion rate, only better than Cardiff. And, since that, there was 2 game weeks ago. So by now, we're probably still up there in terms of the shots, but we've probably got the worst conversion rate now. And, you can't, that blame lies at the striker's feet, doesn't it? You can't, I'm not Hughes' biggest fan at all, but he's not the one with his boots on in the penalty area, is he? I'm very frustrated, very concerned, and I fear the worst for us. Both teams, actually, us and Newcastle.
What do you make of Mark Hughes then? Because I know Rodri isn't his biggest fan. He's made it blatantly obvious he doesn't like Mark Hughes. He's the typical 4-4-2 manager, isn't he? You know what you're going to get with Mark Hughes, and unless he's got big lumps like Adebayor or Roque Santa Cruz up front, you're not going to be very effective. For a former striker, his selection up top seems to be a bit erratic.
But that's because he's got no idea who's his best strikers, and neither do we. We've got 4. We've got Austin, Gabbiadini, Ings, and Long. Now, Ings is definitely our best forward. He's probably our best player at the moment, up there with Højbjerg. Long couldn't score if you gave him 18 open goals. He's just not a finisher at all. Gabbiadini is so desperate to score a goal that he just makes too many wrong decisions. And then the less I say about Austin, the better. just Sunday League personified, that bloke. But yeah, I mean, Hughes. We brought in Hughes because we wanted better football. And we get more creative football. I wouldn't say it's better. We get more creative, but we're actually far worse off at this stage now than we were under Pellegrino. And results-based game, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'd like to thank everyone in the Periscope listening live. Who would you bring in to replace Mark Hughes if he was to go? Because I think Claude Puel didn't do a bad job, did he, Connor?
He didn't do a bad job when you look at it from the outside in, but from the inside, it was dire. It was dreadful. It was boring. And we're not just Saints fans, and it's all over the Premier League, isn't it? I mean, as Man United fans, you're kind of suffering to a lesser extent the same thing. You want both. You want results and you want good football. Unfortunately, for a club
up front though.
Yeah, we got Shane Long. For a club
Connor,
like us, that's just.
David Moyes is available.
I know. Yeah, I know. So is Alan Kirbishley.
Oh boy.
But yeah,
And
you know,
come on,
Pardew.
bring them off. Allardyce, all of them. The old boys club, bring them all in. All in the same.
a conglomerate of shite managers. Yeah.
What about Tony Pulis?
Oh, Heron, that will never step foot in St Mary's ever again. Jesus Christ. No, I don't know. If he goes, the thing is, the position we're in, we've got no one who we can bring. You're going to have to go risky, and you're going to have to probably go for a championship manager who's performing very well, or another random foreigner who hope you pull out a Pochettino out our arse again, which probably won't happen.
Fair point. Kojo, Bournemouth piled more misery and pressure on Jokanovic after they hammered Fulham 3-0 at Craven Cottage. More comical defending from Fulham who couldn't cope with Eddie Howe's counter-attacking system. What's the biggest difference you've noticed in Bournemouth's approach this season, mate?
They're utilizing their strike force a lot better now. Was it last season that Callum Wilson was injured for a lot of the season? Was it last season? Yeah. You can see how much they missed him up front. He is. I admire how much he's bounced back from his injury. He's looking as dangerous as he was before he got injured. And Josh King is having a time of his life as well. And the way he utilizes Ryan Fraser, I think that he's a very underrated player. He's quite a good player actually. I'm quite a fan of Ryan Fraser. You can just see how they've got a system, and they stick to the system. But the thing they do is that defensively, as a team, as a unit, not just the back four, the way they defend as a squad is very good. And then they use every moment they get when they steal the ball to break and just use their pace, because a lot of defenders in the Premier League, one, can't deal with pace, and two, just can't defend. So they just go direct. And Fulham suffered big time. But then who's surprised about Fulham? Because I didn't know this. Last season in the Championship, they were in the bottom half for quite a long time, weren't they? They were bottom. And then they suddenly shot up and then they went and got promoted. And a Fulham fan said that, maybe they can do that this year, but that's levels between the Championship and the Premier League. There's still big levels out here. And Fulham are not levels. So what Bournemouth didn't surprise me, but Bournemouth they're looking really exciting going forward. They know how to use the pace, and their decision making is on point right now. So they have to try and continue to do that, because this is the first time I think since they got promoted, really, that I've been impressed by how has utilized the team going forward. This is the first time in a long time I've looked at him and said, okay, now I understand why people are getting excited about you. Because before, I got it, but I didn't really buy it. And then you had a weird run, but now you're starting to do things again. So it's impressive.
That's right. Now, Rodri isn't here to answer this question as a proud Welshman, so I'm going to put it to all of you guys. Now, David Brooks has scored 3 goals in his last 4 games. Now, when Bournemouth signed him from Sheffield United, Eddie Howe actually said, we've seen enough to suggest he could be outstanding at this level. He's already starting to prove his boss right, isn't he? Who knows much about this lad?
Didn't know much until they signed him. To be honest, Sheffield United were not a team I looked out for when I did watch a Championship game. But no, he's actually got tickers. Like that first goal he scored when they were at home to Palace, the way that he hit the ball to generate that much power with a side foot, I thought, okay, he's got a little something about him. Decent with both feet, can run with the ball, looks for the pass, and then repost to make an angle to get the ball back. He's a good player, and I must say I've been impressed with the way him and Maddison over at Leicester have come from the Championship, and it's just been easy to take it to Premiership football like ducks to water. But yeah, Brooks looks decent, looks exciting player. Looks like he's going to have an exciting future ahead of him.
And weirdly enough, I think with Sheffield United, what happened was I think he's been there for I don't know how many years now, but he was how many years? But last season he only scored like 3 goals in general, and I think that's like his overall tally for them. So the fact that he's scoring goals like this already means Eddie Howe's definitely seen something in him, and he's getting the best out of him already. So yeah, it only looks good for him going forward.
I think Eddie Howe knows what a player needs from the lower leagues, and then because you look at their team, their squad as a whole, and how many players from League One and the Championship they've still got. So I think he's got that keen eye for the qualities to make it in the Premier League. Because, like I said, their defence, Charlie Daniels, Adam Smith, Steve Cook, Simon Francis, all were in League One.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
You got Sermon, who was down there in the Championship in League One with them.
Mm-hmm.
Callum Wilson, he's been there and done it, and he kind of knows what you need to make that step up. So I'm assuming that's what he's seen in David Brooks, and like I said, that Crystal Palace goal there's more to that than meets the eye, isn't there? The way he scored that.
The way he hit the ball, the follow through as well. It was crazy to generate that much power from what just looked like a basic side foot. But yeah, he can play. But as Michael was saying, Bournemouth, talking to them in general now, not just about Brooks, on the break, they are a very, very dangerous team, and they probably, outside of like the main team's top 6, play the most exciting football in the league, attacking football in the league. They all bombing on. They played a different formation as well on the weekend. They kind of played. Fraser was kind of like an inside forward, and they had like 4 across the midfield with Lerma and Lewis Cook, 3 at the back, and then Daniels as a wing back. Like he's playing with different formations. I think it's only a matter of time before Howell gets a bigger job. I think what he did in his first season in the Premiership with them was so underrated, because half of their squad was injured, and he still kept them up comfortably to a point where the last 4 or 5 games of the season they played a second string lineup because they'd been able to accumulate so many points. And I fully understand why he was being linked to the likes of Arsenal and for the England job as well. I think he's a really, really good manager that motivates his players as well.
See, this is the thing. If he was to get a bigger job, which club would employ him? Now, the reason why I ask this is because it's all well and good, saying, he's a talented manager and whatnot, but we saw what happened with Brendan Rodgers. He went to Liverpool and they became the nearly men, didn't they? He's gone to Celtic, and yeah, they're doing well in the SPL, but then when you look at their performances in Europe, they're absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
Now, if Eddie Howe went to stay in Everton, then what would he be expected to do? 7th place, if he's lucky.
I think that's the issue with the Premier League at the moment, isn't it? Is unless you're a proven track record and you're going to get one of the top, well, not even the top 6 anymore, because in reality, of those top 6, who's going to go for the Premier League title? 2, 3 at the max. So he's probably got next step's probably international football, isn't it? After Bournemouth or abroad, but how often do English managers go abroad?
Yep, that's a point. It's a very good point. Yep. Right, Sunday's mid-table clash saw wasteful up front Everton travel to can't keep a clean sheet Man United. Martial gave United the points, but it was far from plain sailing as Everton were, wait for it, wasteful up front. Jan, I don't know if Manflu has got the better of you yet, but Jose Mourinho dropped Lukaku, but his name is Romelu Lukerbfoot. Central strike with Mata out wide, and Fred with some sort of free roll in the middle of the park, and it paid off. Granted, United were OP again at the back, but it was good to see a nice display of football overall. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. I think it was a lot better. It wasn't a surprise that Lukaku wasn't in the team, and United played a lot better, to be fair. Lukaku plays football the way I dance, which is awful, to be honest.
I've seen you dancing, honestly.
Yeah, I know. I'm awful, ain't I? It was good still. I mean,
You've heard the film "White Man Can't Jump." Jan can't dance.
I know.
Michael Jackson, no legs.
Right-footed. Anyway, back to the game. It's not a coincidence that since Mata's been in the team, United have been playing a lot better. The fact that Mata gives United a lot of stability, a lot of quality on the ball, allows the wide men to get into spaces, and Mata kind of finds them. So I quite like Mata in the team, and with Rashford, all right, Rashford hasn't got the physical presence of Lukaku, but he doesn't even use that. But what Rashford does, he makes intelligent runs in the channels, which allows United to push on and get the team forward. And yeah, there was some good football. United should have took more of their chances and make it more comfortable. And you saw once the penalty went in, it was a totally different game. Everton had believed that they would get back in the game, and you never know what can happen. But overall, I think United deserve to win on the day.
And Kojo, you and I, we seem to be the only people that see eye to eye when it comes to Paul Pogba, and Jan included, obviously. But his showboating and Smalling's right on cue brain lapse made it a nervy end to the game. To be fair, Pogba knew he made a mistake, but do you think he'll learn from it?
Yeah, I think he's starting to understand it. He said after the game that sometimes he realizes that sometimes it's better to just get the ball out of there and then try and regroup or try and move the ball to get the team forward a little bit. It's not always, try and play the way that looks pretty. Sometimes just get out of there and let's get going again. So it was good that he recognized his mistake, and I think he's so desperate to be a leader in the dressing room that I think he's starting to realize his own game faults and starting to say, okay, I have to do this and do this better, because that's 2 weeks. The first one was Chelsea with the marking Rudiger, and then now you got this one again, giving the ball away before. I'm not going to talk about Smalling, because I'll get mad. But yeah, you can see that he's starting to acknowledge the things that he's doing wrong, and that's only going to help him in the long run. Because if you can see that from now, and you start to slowly get out and then let your quality come out and show on the pitch, no one's going to have anything to complain about anymore. I mean, didn't Graham Souness praise him at half time, and everyone was like, wait, what? Like, everyone was rattled. So even though I feel like they were buying into that a little bit, but he can change opinions on him that people have of this showboating is all about me kind of player. I think he really does care about winning with the team, but it starts with getting these small things out and then acknowledging that, yeah, I need to do better in this situation for the team to get better.
Kojo, can I add something on Pogba, if I may?
Yeah, go on.
I feel sometimes because of the lack of movement up front, he tends to do things by himself because there's nothing in front of him for him to pass. Sometimes I look at him and he's looking forward, and there isn't an option. So in the end, he tries something fancy, he tries something difficult because he hasn't got the movement up front for him to pass the ball to.
I agree. I agree so much because there's a guy up front that is
yeah.
Oh boy,
Oh boy.
What? That boy that cost 90 million quid.
Rock Nation, baby.
Yeah, you see that guy. You see that guy. You know what? If I get onto him right now, you know what? Listen to my podcast on Tuesday. I'll deal with him then, because right now I've had a good day. I can't. I really don't have the energy for him right now. I just don't. I really don't.
If you want someone to share your rant with, let me know as well, because I'll be happy to talk about him too.
Oh, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do that.
See.
But yeah, bro, just before we move on, Yannickus, you hit the nail on the head in regards to that Pogba thing, because obviously, even the latest example, if you go earlier on in the season when you lot lost at home to Tottenham, there was that bit over by the touchline, wasn't it? When he got the ball, shielded it, looked up, no one was making any runs.
That's
and
right.
He ended up just rolling the ball out of play because it was like, there's no movements for me. There's nobody there. I can't do it by myself because they trap me. There's two people here. I've got no one to pass it to. And you just pass the ball out of play. It was like, forget it.
I watch him a lot. He gets frustrated a lot. And I actually agree with Pogba. I mean, I know sometimes, everyone's going to look at Pogba because of the price tag and his hair and all that.
Yeah.
He's actually a really good footballer. And if you give him intelligent and good players around him, he's going to become better. But he's not doing that, United, because the players around him are not good enough. Just simple as that.
People believe
Hello?
you shouldn't have a Harley Davidson in your apartment.
What the hell is going on here? Sorry.
Hey, Roger.
Right.
Apparently, I shouldn't have a Harley Davidson in my room. I don't know what's going on there, but random pop-up. So I don't know why I would have a Harley Davidson in my room. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah, sorry. So look, I think it goes back to what Kojo said about Pogba wanting to be a leader. I heard something or other where Pogba spoke to Jose Mourinho at halftime against Newcastle, and Jose said, "How am I gonna get the best out of you in this game?" And he actually said to him, "Well, let me drop deep and play in front of the back four and play Fellaini further forward." And it worked. I'm not saying that Pogba masterminded United's comeback, but he's showing signs that he's taking things more serious than what it was before. I think he's finally getting it.
And Martial's another one as well, still, isn't he?
Yep.
They're starting to, I think, their attitude in the last 2-3 weeks has improved a lot. I mean, we as United fans have criticised them too, especially for, maybe being bad eggs in the dressing room or being disruptive. But I think with Luke Shaw, staying, and now these two, it seems like actually Mourinho was probably right with everything that he was saying. And let's face it, if Pogba and Martial are playing well every week, the manager's not going to come out and criticise, is he? The reason why Martial now is starting regularly is because he's playing well and scoring goals. You're not going to criticise a player for having a good game, are you? And let's face it, Martial for the last, year and a half has been so inconsistent. Mourinho's had a right to have a go at him. So I don't blame the manager at all.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Connor, while we're on the subject of Pogba, what do you make of his penalty technique? I'm not quite sure.
You've literally just said he's starting to take things more seriously. But I mean, it sums him up, doesn't it? He can't be straightforward because he had a pretty good game. Like you've said, he even impressed Graham Souness, which was a shock to everyone. But I mean, all of that could have just been ruined if it weren't for that stroke of luck with the ball bouncing back at his feet. And I mean, I'm not being funny, but I don't see Jordan Pickford as one of them, as the type of keeper you can psych out. He comes across as quite a confident, resolute guy, doesn't he?
Yep.
To try that against, I mean, any keeper in the world, you're a brave man, but against someone, probably him, that's bordering stupid, isn't it?
Well, he's done it for years, though, Connor. That's been his style of penalty taking for years.
That was ridiculous, though. That was taking it to the extreme.
Running up like he's flipping James Anderson, bruv. You know what I mean? And then you just knew that he was going to miss because Pickford's he's been good at saving penalties since he's been a teenager for England's under 19s or under 20s, whatever it was. You just knew that he was going to miss. I was so annoyed he got the rebound because I wanted him to take people to throw shade at him. Like, it's terrible. Terrible. Even his one he scored on the opening day against Leicester, it was a terrible penalty. But Schmeichel could only kind of get a hand to it and into the roof of the goal. He to get him off penalties immediately, especially when Matters on the pitch. Matter will just run up and smash it in with his left foot. I mean, it's not this nonsense, man.
He did the same at Young Boys away. Same technique, and keeper should have saved that as well.
Well, the funny thing is, you mentioned Jordan Pickford. He reminds me of this typical like Chumbawamba tub thumping kind of person. He'll drink about 4 pints before the game. He'll have 6 Red Bulls, like Joe Hart used to. Joe Hart used to thump before games, like headbutting the wall and all that kind of.
Do you remember in the 2014 World Cup when Italy and England when the ball boy went to give the ball back to Joe Hart and he went out.
It's like that. It's like the England goalkeeper shirt is like a wifey. Don't need to wear a vest. Just wear that England. Yeah, typical. I'm gonna go shopping wearing my England goalkeeper shirt. Anyway, Mr. Birthday Boy again. I can't help but think that something is really missing for Everton to be considered a top 7 side. I mean, they remind me a little of my school report card. Works hard, puts in a lot of effort, lacks focus.
Yep.
Is that a fair evaluation of Everton so far?
Yep, that I think that's bang on. Everton, we can always rely on Richard Keys to tweet something from the beIN Sports studios over there in Qatar about how Everton's team, Everton have made really good signings. I think they're going to come over Liverpool this season. It's like a recurring tweet, but like an automated system. But yeah,
we're going to do what Liverpool Mr. Senderos? What are they going to do?
Oh man, but yeah, they I don't know. It's such a, I don't know. Words can't describe really. They're not very good at the back. They're trying, at least now, I suppose they're playing a more attractive brand of football. Pickford is a decent keeper, but I still think that he's got a bit of a baby. He can be a bit of a baby Loris at times and run out of the goal when not needed, or try and run dribble with it, or just do something random. I just don't know, because when you look at their squad, it's actually a decent squad, but again, it's goals. Richarlison started like a house on fire. He's cooled off a bit now. Cenk Tosun was very good last season, not so this season. Calvert-Lewin's a willing runner, but he's not really the finisher. And I just think that they'll be in a lot of games, but I just think that extra bit of quality isn't there. But 7th place is open. Let's be realistic. Regardless of how badly United are doing now, they will get into the top 6. 7th is open, and that we spoke about Bournemouth earlier. It could be them if they could continue to take points off of the teams that'll be in and around them, because I just think their open style, they'll be unlocked in big games. But yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know with Everton. Like, when you expect something from them, they don't produce, but then they'll have a game that, even the other day, Pickford saved a penalty last week when they played Palace. It was a pretty even game. They came away and then won the game in the end, but I don't think they'll have enough at the back to keep them in enough games. So they'll probably be looking more maybe about an 8th or 9th.
Well, see, this is the thing. When you look at their back four, Digne is a half-decent left-back, and obviously he's done well to dislodge Leighton Baines, monopolise that position. Then you've got the right-back, Seamus Coleman, that's come back from a really serious injury, and you can see he's still suffering a little bit, not from the injury, but maybe a lack of form, ring rust, whatever.
Yeah, because his game was all about bursting forward, wasn't it? And he's being a bit more cautious in terms of...
And then you've got the central defenders, Zuma and Keane. I tweeted it yesterday. They're like a patchwork central defensive partnership. I can't bring them in like Ricardo Rocha and, all these other players. I just look at them like, are you serious? Are you for real? I mean, I know Jagielka is, I don't know what's going on with Jagielka. Is he injured? I don't even know. And they had Williams out on loan. Yeah, Jagielka, yeah. Watch DVDs of him, Rio. He teach you how to defend. But, yeah. But, yeah, let's move on from Everton because, Toffee's sticky situation, all that. But
they've got Yerry Mina as well, haven't they? Still,
play him.
Pick him up front. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
Zuma reminds me of Bruno Martins Indy.
Oof.
Martins Indy is a mess.
He's a big mess. And you know what? People rated him because they like defenders that look scary. I remember there was a picture one time, just on his face.
No, but do you remember, Mike? You spoke about it when we did our World Cup show with Still a couple of months ago. He was brilliant in that game when Holland beat Spain 5-1. So everyone thought he was going to be better. And after that, it was just like, when you actually watched him, it was like, this guy is really bad.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They thought he was going to be something special, but that's just like Football Manager fans, you know what I mean?
Zuma's in the Mangala mode.
Mangala's another bad one. Jesus Christ.
Is Mina any better though? Is Mina really that good?
There you go. There you go, Connor. Because I only think Yerry Mina's good in the air. When he was at Barcelona last season, he was getting twisted and turned left, right, and centre. He's brilliant in the air though. Like he'll head her a brick, mate.
In the air is fantastic, but on the ground, I can't wait to watch that. Trust me.
On the plus side, Everton can have Lukaku back if they want.
I will pay for his ticket to get there. I don't even live near him. It's fine. I will find him. We'll get there together.
Will you pay for his Timberland boots as well?
I'll pay for the jeans, everything, bro. Everything.
I go house with you, mate. All right, no worries.
Oh no, I got this, man. Buy me a drink at the.
All right, you're on. All right. As long as he leaves.
No problem. This is a personal vendetta, bro. I got this. No worries.
I think we're gonna hear the end of this, are we? To Lukaku.
No.
Blimey. Right, Kojo, Crystal Palace ended Arsenal's winning streak with a 2-2 draw thanks to 2 Milivojevic penalty. See, I got his name right. I don't know why I used to call him back in there. Although there was quite a bit of controversy in this one. Arsenal's second goal looked to have been assisted by Lacazette's hand, while Zaha has been accused of diving again for Palace's second. What's your take on both incidents?
First one, Lacazette basically gave the boy a high five. So that shouldn't have been a goal. Second of all, the penalty. See, for me, I told people I don't think it's a penalty. I think he's. But again, it's one of those stupid leave my leg out, lazy sort of challenges, and then he's seen your leg. He's like, well, I'm gonna go into it, but he sort of jumped into it because he jumped into your leg. He's simulating. It's a dive. But again, you're an idiot for leaving your foul like that, and that's what you deserve. So yeah, one was a high five, one was a dive. Referee had a great game. So should have been 1-1, but there you go.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is what you get when you play Xhaka at left back. I know he had a decent game midweek against. Was it Sporting he played? Was it a left back against Sporting?
He played left back.
Yeah. But you got Lichtsteiner there. Play him at left back. He's a much more experienced player. And I know Zaha would have loved it, but let's be honest. You don't have to be an intelligent. You don't have to be a quick defender to play against Zaha. Just be intelligent and use your experience. And I think Lichtsteiner would have been the perfect player to play at left back. But a bit of a bizarre game, that one. You know, obviously Palace going in 1-0 up at half time after Arsenal just completely dominating them when it comes to possession wise. But that man Aubameyang, I've got him on my dream team because I thought we would smash the granny out of the Premier League, and he's not done too bad. What do you make of him, Connor?
I can't believe he's not getting as many starts as he should be. I understand he's doing it off the bench, but Lacazette is a quality striker, and I understand that they have to play both of them. But you know, for me, he's going to get 20 goals this season. Isn't he? He's on 7 already.
Yeah.
Last week he played 59 minutes of football and got 4 goals.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. There's probably more to it. I mean, Emery knows his stuff, doesn't he? But one of the best strikers in the league. I think he's not getting as much credit as he probably deserves. But there's obviously underlying issues as to why he's not playing a full 90 minutes.
Mm. Well, Connor, Chelsea blitzed Burnley 4-0 on Sunday. How surprised are you to see Burnley struggle so much, given how well they did last season?
Well, actually, we did a preview show before the season began, and I put Burnley in my 3 to go down. And that was purely because of the European ventures. I thought they'd last longer than that, and that would have they've got a squad of about 13 players, haven't they? And I thought that'd be their downfall, but that kind of fizzled out quickly. But so they've just been awful, haven't they? I mean, they conceded 39 goals all of last season, but 10 games in, they've conceded 21. I mean, their game is based on being hard to beat and keeping teams out and nicking the 1-0s. But if you're conceding 2 goals a game, you're not going to win 1-0, are you? So you're in trouble.
True. Fair point. Well, gentlemen, Paddy Power and Skybet have Sean Dyche at 33-1 to be the next manager sacked, which are the same odds that apply to Pochettino. Is Dyche unsackable? In fact, are there any other managers who are actually Teflon?
Rafa,
yeah. But I think Rafa will walk. I don't think he'll. I don't think Rafa would be sacked. I think he'll walk. But
will he? Hang on, sorry. Won't he be sacked because he's on a ridiculous amount of money, or Mike Ashley doesn't want to pay out? Alan Pardew, he'll give you a 7-year contract and then pay whatever.
Mike Ashley is trying to buy every shop there is, mate. He's not even he's not even concentrating on that one.
Well, he should bring back Toys R Us and then at least have a decent striker like Jeffrey. That long neck of it. I mean, they don't have anyone to target anymore, and Rondon isn't good in the air, so I think Jeffrey will go now.
That's actually a good point. What the hell is Rondon doing?
I know he's been injured for a few weeks, but even when he came on against us the other day and was a donkey.
His name sounds like Rondo's, doesn't it? Which is that training routine. So I guess that's one of the reasons why he's playing out on that. So are there any managers that can't be sacked? I mean, let's forget Guardiola and Klopp for a moment because we know they're not going to be anytime soon. But anyone there that you can think?
David Wagner.
Yes. That's a good one, Connor, because Wagner, even when they were in the Championship, Wolfsburg wanted him, and they did all they could to keep him on. So yeah, as you said, even if they go down, they won't sack him.
No, he's got freedom at Huddersfield for the rest of his life, isn't he? There's absolutely no chance.
What about Colin? Is Colin safe at Cardiff?
No.
No. Anyone know why I call him Colin?
No, I was about to ask that. Why?
The anagram, isn't it?
It's the anagram. So basically, Neil Warnock, an anagram of his name is Colin Wanker.
Oh my God.
Everyone is going to get a pen and pencil out now.
Yeah.
Like a word search,
I think he's sackable, but purely because he's an absolute psycho and he's going to melt down at Christmas, isn't he? He's just going to lose his mind.
I genuinely think, I just think he's having the time of his life in this league, actually, because he hasn't been in the Premier League for a long time. And he's had
There's a reason for that.
Exactly, but he's had to watch all the... it's because we talk about the English class of the old-timers that keep getting their jobs in the Premier League, but he wasn't part of that squad. And now he's back in the Premier League, and he's just like, hey, I remember they lost the game, they got spun, I can't remember who it was. And this guy walked onto the middle of the pitch, smile on his face, capping all the fans. I was thinking, yeah, you're just here to enjoy the moment. This is it for you. You're back in the Premier League. You can tell your children that you manage in the Premier League, and then tell your grandchildren as well. Like you are really living in the moment. I just think he's having a good time, man.
I actually think he wants to get sacked for most of his jobs because he's probably the richest man ever off severance payments, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
because he gets good contracts because he's got a good reputation. He gets good money, and then he calls someone a tosspot, gets sacked, and that's it. He's 3 million richer, isn't he?
Well, he was part of that QPR team. He was the head coach, wasn't he? They signed 25 players in 2 years. I think Mark Hughes was a manager as well after Colin. So I think he's got something to do with it. But let's be honest, I think Neil Warnock has kind of been ruined by Adel Taarabt, hasn't he?
Oh, what a guy.
Adel, you're not allowed to defend. Just stand in the opponent's half. That's all he asked him to do. So
he was one of the most overrated footballers I've ever seen, honestly.
And he ended up at AC Milan and Benfica, so I don't know what that says about their recruitment policies. But then again, Milan had, what's his name? The midfielder that used to play for Portsmouth. What's his name? They called him the wardrobe because you couldn't pick him up. What's his name? Bouba Diop.
Bouba Diop.
Was it Milan? Was it Bouba Diop at Milan or was it someone else?
No, Bouba Diop went to
Suleiman Tari.
Suleiman Tari, sorry.
Montari.
He was at Portsmouth, wasn't he? He was at Portsmouth.
Yeah,
he played for both Milan clubs, Montari.
Bloody
Yep.
Suleiman Tari. One of the few central midfielders that played for both Milan clubs, up there with Pirlo and Seedorf.
Listen, to give Montari's credit, he scored 2 bangers against Villa.
Yannickis. Who did he not make? Gareth Barry, and then he packed it 30
and then outside of the foot, top corner. Hey, listen.
I'm just gonna rate him because he's Ghanaian and he's one of my people. So
you think Pompey's midfield at one point was Suleiman Tari and Kevin Prince Boateng?
Oh but the thing about we don't like Boateng because he decided to be German for so long and then didn't get to the Germany team. So I thought, hey, why not? I'll go for it.
But he was really good for us though, Mac, because he gave us a bit of creativity and that. I mean,
yeah.
Muntari actually played for Al Ittihad, which is a team in Saudi Arabia. Do you want to guess who is in charge of them at the moment? Who's their head coach?
Oh, he just joined recently.
God knows, Sven.
Roundup.
No. Give me a clue.
You're close with Harry Redknapp because he did manage the same team as Harry Redknapp once.
Is it Andre Villas-Boas? Villas-Boas?
No.
Ooh.
Wendy Ramos.
No.
Alan Perrin?
First, think further back.
Further back. How
One
about
of Harry Redknapp's first clubs, or one of them. His first club was Bournemouth. He wasn't linked with Bournemouth. Think of another club that Harry Redknapp coached early on in his career.
West Ham.
Yes, go on.
Oh.
I know this because I heard this the other day, and as soon as you told me, I'm going to go, oh yeah. Oh, Slaven Bilic.
There you go, Slaven Bilic.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh,
see?
wow, what a drop that is. Wasn't he linked with the Croatian job at one point in his life?
He was
He had the
Croatian,
Croatian job.
He had it, yeah.
Oh, boy.
He had the job, yeah. There you go. See, you learn something new every day.
Yep.
You learn something new on this show anyway. I don't know why the Periscope feed dropped. I've just rebooted it. There you go. Technical problems, whatever. I think you can do an hour. There's the limit. So we've got an hour. Anyway, whatever. Right. In other news, Barcelona won the first El Clasico of the season in style. Pumped rival.
Do we have to? Do we have to do this?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Suarez was the hero as he bagged the hat trick, the biting man. Yannickis, we knew Barcelona would win this even without Messi. I dread to think what the scoreline would have been had Messi been fit enough to start. Real Madrid were shambolic again, weren't they?
Oh, it's just they've been like that since the appointment of Lopetegui. I tweeted today that Real Madrid went and done a David Moyes what United did. They've hired a guy who has won nothing in his managerial career to go and manage a club of that stature with the players who are world champions and Champions League champions and won La Liga, and it just hasn't worked. I mean, as for Lopetegui, I kind of feel sorry for him, to be honest. He's had probably the 3 worst months of his life.
Why do you feel sorry for him?
Sorry?
Why do you feel sorry for him?
Well, the eve of the World Cup, he gets sacked, and then
No. You stop right there. Stop doing this whole like victim card, okay? He didn't. No one put a gun to his head to take the Real Madrid job. He wanted it. He could have waited until after the World Cup, but he chose to do it before. Why? Because he's a narcissist. That's right. He's a narcissist.
And one second, so him being the Spanish national coach and then joining Real Madrid in the summer, what effect does that have? He's there to manage his country to the World Cup. It's got nothing to do with Real Madrid. It's got nothing to do with it.
Hang about. Slow down for a second, right? He could have signed that contract and then taken on the Real Madrid job. If he was the man that they wanted, he could have waited till after, couldn't he?
Well, Louis van Gaal got the Man United job and he was the manager.
Stop it.
Now there's no difference.
You're being silly. You're being silly. No, you're being facetious. I'm not having this, right? He took the Real Madrid job while he was Spain's national team manager, and they rightly sacked him, which they should have done in the first place, right? He took the Real Madrid job thinking that he was bigger than what he was. Let's be honest. Who's he managed before? Vallecano? Porto? Give me a break, right? So he's taken the job. He's bitten off more than he can do, right? The players don't respect him because he's won nothing, like David Moyes, right? He's taken the team that won the Champions League 3 years on the bounce, and he's failed. And they got absolutely ripped apart at the weekend and serves him bloody right. Don't care.
He got ripped apart by Levante.
But there you go. Well, let's talk about Barcelona, Mr. Birthday Boy, again. I don't think Suarez has many fans outside Uruguay and Liverpool, although he's cleaned up his act. Anger management he's been taken through. He offers more than goals, doesn't he?
He's Luis Suarez. He's a prick for the way that he left the club, but he's a quality footballer, man. He's industry, his skill, timing of runs. He's just his work rate as well. Like some players have got outstanding ability, which obviously he has, but he works so hard for the team as well. He can make something out of nothing, and a great header yesterday. I didn't catch all the goals because I was out and about, but he's just just a quality player. And as you said, for them to beat Madrid, and obviously they've got Lopetegui sacked, P45 on deck. Without Messi, if he was playing, it probably would have been about 8 or 9. But Coutinho doing his thing, because Valverde, though obviously they won the league last season, people still rip into him about his brand of football, and sometimes he's not as expensive, but certain times, just like for instance when Scolari was in charge of Brazil in 2002, even when you try to be have more restraint to your play, because of the quality of some of the individuals out there, you can still make a difference and still produce some great attacking play and get over the line. And that is what obviously Suarez brings to that team, and that's why him and Messi work so well, because of his work rate opens it up. And Messi in a one-on-one, no one's stopping him.
Absolutely. And Kojo, as expected, Lopetegui has been sent packing. He's got his P45, and former Chelsea boss Antonio Conte is apparently taking the hot seat. Now, if this is true, it's a bit of a strange appointment, given the Italian system doesn't really tie in with Real Madrid's traditional style of play or their philosophy or whatever snobbery or snobbish attitude they have towards a style. What do you reckon?
I don't think Madrid have a style. I think all they know is try and win. So by any means necessary, if Conte can come out here, they'll look at it and say, if Conte can come out here and do 3-5-2 like he did at Chelsea for that season and win us something, they'll be happy. I don't think they have a style of play. I think at this point they're just hella desperate, because Madrid for the first time in a long time didn't sack their manager. Their manager got up and left. For the first time, they didn't look at a legend at their club and say, your time is up here, goodbye, and get rid of them, or just wait for them to retire and go away. The guy said, I'm out of here. So I think they're just very, very rattled right now. And they're just looking every which way, and they're like, oh, hey, Conte's available, why not? Like, let's just go and give him the job, because he's won stuff. He's got some pedigree to him. But I think they're just at a stage where they just look at each other and just say, we just need to win something. We need to keep going. But there's this idea that Conte will come in and he can ruffle some feathers with the players. Madrid really isn't the place to do that. It's not, because if he tries to push the buttons of Sergio Ramos, for example, he's going to get a shock. Like, Madrid is not a pleasant club. It really isn't pleasant. And when someone has power, and the manager's not one of them, because the manager has no power, it could turn up nasty for him. So, good luck to him if he does take the job. But yeah, I don't feel like they have some style of play. I think they just want to win by any means necessary. Madrid, like Mourinho and Ancelotti, are two very different managers, style of play, everything, and they went from one guy to the other. So I think they just want to win.
Well, see, this thing you mentioned, Ancelotti, he had a fantastic reign at Real Madrid, I believe, anyway, winning the Champions League. And did he even win La Liga while he was out there? I can't remember, but he went to Bayern Munich and he lost a dressing room. You see Ribery and Robben having their own training sessions behind his back. And when players lose the respect of the manager, or vice versa, when the manager loses the players' respect, that's it. It's game over. And I think that's what we've seen with Lopetegui even before he got the job. They looked at him and they're like, who is this guy? What have you won?
I don't even know why he even got a job in the first place.
Because he used to play for them.
but if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing here, then at some point we might as well give David Bellion a job at Man United. Like, this is, you know what I mean?
But this is what I think about United and Mourinho. When they got Mourinho, people saying, "Oh, his ideas are dead and whatnot," but he's a proven winner. You want proven winners, big names to take these big jobs, because they know what it's all about. Someone mentioned Eddie Howe getting a big job. Well, Eddie Howe, what is his credentials different to David Moyes? He hasn't won anything.
Well,
David Moyes at least won a Division 2 title. Do you know what I mean?
The issue with that, if I had the thing about football now is that I genuinely feel like we don't have much winners left, but I think that also goes hand in hand with the fact that a lot of the I don't know how many uprising managers you can say how special, have that special something they can say, yeah, they're going to win something, but unless you are given the platform to go and try to win something, you won't become a winner. But yeah, the mentality of a manager, our great the managers that we rate as some of the greatest, it wasn't just about how they won titles because they won Premier League titles and Champions League and all that. It's because they knew how to manage clubs and change things up. That adds to it. And a lot of managers, I feel, just don't know how to do that. I feel a lot of managers in today's game are just copycats. They just have to copy and try and adopt a style that another manager's doing without actually knowing how.
Formations, isn't it?
Yeah, without knowing how to do it, you know. And then when it doesn't work out, there will be praise as in, no, they tried something different. But really and truly, they were clueless. They had no idea what the hell they were doing. And you know, Sarri. I'll use Sarri as an example. Sarri's actually a good manager for me, but again, he hasn't won anything. And when he was at Napoli, he came. Well, he was 12 points clear of Juventus, and he bowled it. Now he's got the Chelsea job. He has to try and win something again because I'm not gonna lie to you. If he doesn't win anything within his Chelsea time, I'm gonna come for his neck. Because he'll fall into that category of managers that haven't done anything without. They get praised, but they're not doing anything new or creating something, and that stinks of a lot of managers. That's why you have very few managers that know how to win left in the game.
Do you know what?
Can I share something I've read today? If that's all right.
Go on.
Very quickly. Lopetegui, 14 letters in his name, 14 official matches in charge of Real Madrid, 14 points in La Liga, 14 goals for in La Liga, 14 goals against in La Liga.
And hopefully be that the number of years we'll never hear his name ever again. Crikey. Look, Double D will remember this. Remember when you used to go to HMV back in the day and you could buy what they call the mixed bag? So you pay like a couple of quid and there's a bag full of CDs. You just
Yeah.
If you look at Real Madrid's managers since the turn of the century, right? Let's start with Del Bosque because he took charge in '99. He was there in 2003. Then you had Queiroz, Camacho, who also was Spain national team manager, Mariano Garcia Ramon, Vanderlei Luxemburgo.
Oh yeah,
Juan Ramon Lopez Caro, who had 24 managers in charge, 24 games in charge. Then Capello, Bernd Schuster, Juan de Ramos, Pellegrini, Jose Mourinho, Ancelotti, Rafa Benitez, then Zidane. Now Lopetegui and Solari has obviously stepped in as a caretaker. I mean, you couldn't get a most random list of managers.
Random list, isn't it?
You've got elite level in Mourinho, Ancelotti, Benitez, Zidane, and then you've got a whole pile of crap. Honestly, it's like having that mixed bag. You got Tupac's greatest albums, and then Cleopatra. You know?
There you go.
But even Zidane wasn't proven. Was he?
True, but in the end of his tenure, he was.
Well, yeah, he won 3 Champions Leagues. But what I'm saying, even that was a gamble initially because he never managed before.
That's true. But that's what I'm saying. Though they have to be given the platform to try and go and win. And he, from what I saw of him, he didn't try and copy any styles. He went out there and said, "This is what I do. This is what I want from the team." And that's what I want to do, and it worked. He earned the respect.
There's only one man now that can take over the Real Madrid job. That's Sam Allardyce. They need somebody to steady the ship.
There you go. Do you know the ironic thing, Yannickis? I tweeted again what he said a couple years ago when he said that give me the Real Madrid or Barcelona jobs and I'll win something every season. He's a clown, mate. Allardyce is a clown.
You know what? Yeah, those managers that you read out, like it didn't really dawn on me. But like, there's a reason why they didn't get out of the last 16 for at least what was it 9-10 years?
Yeah.
On the Champions League. That is trash, real trash. And then they signed players like Royston Drenthe and Fernando Gago,
Julian Faubert
on loan.
No, Gago was a good player, to be fair. But yeah, some of the other ones were like,
I did not rate Gago for anything.
There was Huntelaar as well.
Yep.
Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, they had like Christoph Metzelder. They had who did they have? Saviola was there for a bit. And they signed some random players.
Yeah.
Jersey Tech.
Wasn't Saviola a Barcelona reject?
He was?
Yes.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Oh, Madrid.
I'll tell you what, good at Championship manager.
Oh, he was fantastic at Championship manager.
Hey, Yannickis knows, Saviola was the guy.
I grew up on Championship manager.
My friend,
And LMA manager as well.
If you want to talk about wage thieves, Lasana Diarra.
Ooh.
Yes. They got
Actually,
Lozano.
no, you know what? He's actually the most professional wage thief because he's still doing that at PSG.
Yes.
He is elite. He's pure. He's with Adebayor. They're tie.
I mean, it's almost as if he's got the best agent in the world. He's at Real Madrid. Then it was at Andy Machakakala, which had endless amounts of money. Then it was
He was there with
Al
Samuel
Jazeera. Al Jazeera, not the TV channel, but the team in the UAE.
Yeah.
He's
Spartak
at now
Moscow?
PSG. What's that?
Was he at Spartak Moscow? Or Lokomotiv Moscow?
Locomotive, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Portsmouth during the Harry Redknapp days.
Hey. And didn't he play for both Arsenal and Chelsea as well?
That's correct.
Wow, what a career!
Pretty immense. Elite, mate. Elite. He should be like a player of the century card on FIFA Ultimate Team. So yeah, let's move on then. Let's move on to Ligue 1 and their own Classico, which quite put them to sleep. Paris Saint-Germain, who were without Kylian Mbappe, dropped to the bench for being late to Tuchel's team meeting, or you don't want to do that. Blimey. They scraped a 2-0 win at deadly rivals Marseille. One of their goal scorers, Kylian Mbappe. Now, Yannick, it was one of the worst games I've seen in a while, apart from the night game. Although I can see why Ligue 1 fans believe Paris Saint-Germain get preferential treatment from officials, given the pathetic decision to award PSG a free kick when Marquinhos literally ran into Strootman, who was probably looking at some bird in the crowd. What do you make of that?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head, mate. In France, you know who's going to win the league before it's even started. You know, the influence of the Arab money maybe it's got something to do with the refs giving them all the decisions. You know, forget the game on Sunday. For PSG now, it's all about progressing in the Champions League, really. You know, like I said, the league's done and dusted. The cup, they'll probably win that as well. But of cups, you know, what they've invested now is to go further in the Champions League. And to be honest, from what I've seen of them this season, even in the Champions League, they haven't even looked impressive, to be fair. Napoli played well. Liverpool played well against them. So, you know, even there, they've got work to do.
Absolutely. And Connor, the SPL gets a lot of stick for being a one-team league, but surely the same should be leveled at Ligue 1. Paris Saint-Germain are already 8 points clear, and they're only 11 games in.
Yeah, I mean, there's just, as Yannick just alluded to, there's no chance of any team competing anymore, is there? Much like the Premier League where Leicester won it and the other teams went, we're not letting that happen again. I think Monaco won it and PSG were like, this can never happen again. Let's absolutely blitz it. And that's what's happening. I mean, to compare Ligue 1 to the SPL is a bit harsh because the SPL is absolutely tripe. I still think Celtic would finish probably bottom 5 of the Ligue 1, to be honest. But it's not entertaining, is it? But I genuinely think that's why PSG will never do anything in the Champions League, because they're only playing at, 60-70% every week? Then they've got to come and play at 100% against your big boys in Europe.
That's true. And the one thing I've noticed about tonight's show is that there's a music theme to it. I mean, we had Jordan Pickford with his Chumbawamba. We've got Romelu Lukaku, who seems to be part of, I don't know, he's taken Nas's ether since joining Jay-Z's label.
Rock Nation, baby.
There you go. And now you've got kind of Real Madrid where they were like DJ Khaled, all I do is win, and now they've gone from Beck to loser. And I think the same you could say about Thierry Henry, because meanwhile in the Principality, Mr. TH14 is still waiting for his first win as Monaco boss following his side's 2-2 draw against Dijon, and I think they're only famous for mustard, really. I think Thierry can cut the mustard at the moment. Another one. I've got these all night. Right, Connor, I know it's early, but 2 draws and a loss isn't the best starts for Henry. So far, it looks like Aston Villa dodged the bullet. Monaco are 9 points in the league, level on points with bottom place Gangong. I think that's how you know.
Yeah, it is. Well played.
Well, Dankeschön, that's German, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Merci, there you go. GCSE. It's not easy, this management lark, is it?
No, it's probably a hard job to walk into, to be fair to them. They did have a good squad, but what they've got left of it is probably bereft of any confidence. They've got some quality players. You've got Tielemans and Golovin, who are kind of young and upcoming. They'll need time. They're still raw. But like we talk about the quality of Liga, and they could still go on a run. They could still finish second if they really wanted to. But Henry's, stayed a few games in. He's still cutting his teeth. It's different being a number one to being a coach or assistant, especially from international football, isn't it? But then, everyone in England is praising Gerrard and Lampard, but how quick can a manager's career be completely destroyed? We talked about Lopetegui earlier. Take 3 months for him to be the next big thing to an absolute nobody, and it can go the other way, can't it? So we'll have to wait and see, but not a great start.
They've got Nasser Chadley. Sure, they must be doing better. Come on.
And Jovic as well with Falcao up front.
True.
There you go. They have got a lot of injuries. They have got a lot of injuries at the moment, Monaco. But this is just unacceptable. It's sad what happened to them. They won the league, and literally that whole 11 that won the league has literally all been sold.
Yeah.
I'm at the door, leaving. Gents, which world-class footballer do you think is the biggest managerial flop artist?
What do you mean?
Well, you got Thierry Henry going to Monaco. He was a world-class footballer, but Dross as a manager so far. You've had...
Do you mean ever or...
Yeah, as far as you can remember, anyway.
Roy Keane?
Oh, God. Oh,
Bingo.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Bingo.
Man did it with the first shot, The first shot done the thing, bruv. Roy Keane, Oh, my days. That guy,
I mean,
And
he won the league at Sunderland, but he didn't do anything after that, did he, really, to be fair?
He did drop kick the A board when he did a team talk for Ipswich.
Yeah.
We've been doing that. There's surely probably some other, I remember Frank Rijkaard, he got the Barcelona job, won the Champions League. I don't remember Van Basten doing too well as a head coach.
Mm.
So there's one club who kind of stood out when I read this question, and that's AC Milan. Because you think of the managers they've had in the last few years. They've had Seedorf, Inzaghi, Gattuso.
Yeah.
Gattuso's done all right, but the players they've got should be doing a lot better. Yeah, I mean, Seedorf, Inzaghi especially were absolutely phenomenal footballers.
Yeah.
And couldn't win a game to save them lives as a manager. Seedorf's a manager somewhere else now, isn't he? In China, I believe.
No, Seedorf has gone... Is it Uzbekistan or somewhere like that?
Oh, yeah, he's gone international, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone somewhere else. He was in China and then he left.
He's Cameroon, that's where he is.
He got relegated with Deportivo La Coruña.
Yeah, the Deportivo, they were...
No, I got it. Tony Adams.
Yeah, true. Could be. Well, what about Rudi Voller? He was dreadful, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was trash.
Klinsmann wasn't great.
But Tony
Mark Hughes
Adams,
as well.
Tony Adams dances on the training ground, so I mean...
Oh, no. Still, it's got to be Gary Neville, isn't it? At Valencia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
Wow.
What class was he?
I think he was, as a right back.
Come on now, I think you're being a bit... What about Alan Shearer?
Nah.
When Newcastle relegated, didn't he?
No, he did well there to get him relegated.
For crying out loud, mate. Come on, who else have we got? Did Eusebio, was he ever a manager?
Eusebio? I don't remember him managing.
You could probably chuck Maradona in it, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, Maradona's been awful. Maradona's
Yeah.
in Mexico now in the second division.
Yeah, he's
Dorados.
we did this the other week, man. We did. He's the same place as where what's it called? The drug dealer. What's his name? I forget his name now. It's gone out of my head.
Well, the team's Dorados. I don't know the drug dealer. I don't know. I ain't got his name now.
The drug dealer in Mexico.
Javier Marquez.
No, no. Allegedly. No, the guy they did a series on him. Oh, I forgot his bloody name now. It doesn't matter now. Doesn't matter. The Sinaloa, what are they called? Oh, for crying out loud. That doesn't matter. I'm losing my trail of thought. It's 11:30 and I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. Anyway, yeah. Right, that's it for our show, ladies and gents. Thank you for tuning in. We've gone almost an hour and a half. It's been great having you guys all on.
Hold on. What about the quiz?
Oh, yes. Thank you. See, your man is transferring over to me now.
On the ball because he stopped thinking about Lukaku, so he's what sharper. Yeah.
I know Lukaku's definitely not one of the scorers in the quiz.
Okay. Right, let's do this. Man United 1, Chelsea 1. So the goal scorers
God.
for Manchester United. Come on, Kojo.
Van Persie.
Yep, last minute.
Is that what you're going with? Yeah.
Yeah, RVP.
And for Chelsea.
Drogba.
Okay, Jan.
Yeah, drop a header from a corner.
Okay, well, since you guys are so sure of it, I think the other two are going to agree with you. Connor.
I
Yeah.
did put RVP and Terry, but obviously it's Drogba.
I didn't have either of those players because I didn't remember the game, so we'll keep a 0 for me.
Well, it's ironic because Drogba wasn't supposed to play, but Costa got injured and Drogba played and he scored.
Yeah, I had Costa. I had Smalling and Costa because I don't remember the game. I know when I see the goals, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that.
So I'm writing that one off then, so I'm going to have to give the bonus question, aren't I? For Christ's sake. Right, West Ham 2, Man City 1.
Oh god.
I only remember one scorer because I actually love his name.
One.
Amalfitano.
Oh, very good. Very good.
But that's what I remember. City, I'll say Aguero. It was 2-1 West Ham.
Yeah, that's right.
Who did they have back in that time? They were poor.
I had.
So they had Andy Carroll. They had.
That's who I had. I had Sacco and Carroll. I did.
Sacco.
I don't remember.
I'm going with Sacco.
I had the F for Sacco.
I'm going
I've
with
got
Sacco
Moses
because
and Carroll.
The fake hammer, Def for Sacco. I'm going for Sacco.
I've got Moses, Carroll, and De Bruyne.
Okay, Moses, Carroll. Moses? Was he there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Moses
he
is
was
playing for
online.
them. Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Jan?
You guys are not going to believe me, but I watched this game with my cousin. He's a West Ham fan.
Oh,
David,
cool.
David Silva killed it for for City that day, and the second was, I think it was Sacco or Salvio. It was one of the two. I'm going to go for Sacco.
Okay, right. This could be an interesting one. Spurs 1, Newcastle 2.
Oh god.
Jan, did you go there with your cousin?
I'm going to go with Loic Remy for Newcastle.
Okay.
Oi.
That's a good
Oi.
Had the sequel for a while in Newcastle, I remember that.
Oi.
2-1 for Tottenham. I'm going to go with 2014.
Come on, it's 11:30, man. Hurry up.
I'm going to go Harry Kane.
And who else scored for Newcastle?
I'm going to go with Remy too.
Okay, right. Remy Martin. Okay, who's next? Kojo?
Okay, 2014. They had Bobby Soldado. Wow, crap. They had Gareth Bale. They had Adebayo. Okay, I'll go with Uncle Adebayo.
Okay.
And then Newcastle, just because I thought they were both as bad as each other. I don't know which one's worse. You can tell me. I'll go for one of the Amiobi brothers.
Okay.
And Papi Cisse. I can't remember if it was there that year or not.
Jeez.
Yeah, probably actually.
I'm gonna go. I can't remember. I'm gonna go Tottenham. I'm gonna go Ericsson. Newcastle. I'm gonna go Musa, Sissoko, and Remy.
Okay.
I know one of the Newcastle scorers was Perez. I'm 99% sure Perez got his first goal in that game. And I'm going to go Musa Sissoko and Nasser Chadli.
Oh, very good. Very good. Right. I'm going to give you the bonus one here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Burnley 1, Everton 3.
Was this in 14-15?
Yep.
Burnley were here.
Samuel Eto'o hat-trick for Everton.
Yeah.
Is that what you're going with, yeah?
Yeah.
Who hat trick?
Eto'o. I think he
Eto'o.
scored 2 or 3 in that
Was Eto there?
Yeah, he was, bro. He only spent 1 year. But
Well, number 5,
yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
So was this Burnley's first season?
Back up, yeah, because I remember the first game of that season they played really good against Chelsea, and then Fabregas turned it on.
Just trying to think who played for Burnley back then. Jesus Christ.
All right, if it was Burnley's first season, the only person that he scored for them was Danny Ings, so it has to be him.
Scott Arfield. He was there, wasn't he?
Balance of probability.
2014, I'll go.
Was Robbie Blake there?
Listen, just answer the bloody question. Don't ask me the question.
All right, you know, I'm gonna go for Lukaku.
Lukaku
And someone said Eto definitely score, so I'll say Eto for the other two. I'm gonna steal that one.
Okay, and for Burnley?
Ings, because I swear he was the only one that scored for them before he got sold.
Fair enough. Jan, you didn't choose your Burnley goal scorer.
I'm gonna go Blake just because I said him. I don't want to. Yeah.
Like,
Didn't Blake score a volley against Man United?
Yeah, they beat us 1-0. Carrot missed a penalty.
Oh yeah, damn, that was a bad day.
that famous kit. Anyway, Double E.
Burnley, I'm gonna go. I don't know. Chris Eagles.
Oh wow. Okay.
What a throwback!
Everton's goal scorer.
Everton, I'm going to go Lekaka, Eto, and Baines.
Very right. Connor.
Burnley, I'm going to go Chalobah,
Wow.
Ooh.
and I know Eto definitely got 2, so I'll go Eto 2 and Baines with the other one.
Right, I'm going to total these up now. So I'm going to write off the United one because that's just seemed too easy for the United supporters. Right, West Ham 2, Man City 1. The goal scorers for West Ham were Amalfitano and Sacco, and Man City's goal scorer was David Silva.
Lovely.
Okay.
Double E got 1, Kojo got 2, Connor got 0, and Sam got 3. Okay, remember your score so far because I'm going to forget them.
Okay.
Spurs 1, Newcastle 2. Goal scorer for Spurs was Adebayor, and Newcastle goal scorers were Sammy Amiobi and Ayose Perez. So,
Look at that. Well done, Connor.
2. Double D, you got none, and Connor got 1.
One. Woo!
There you go. Right. What are your scores so far? Because I don't even bloody know.
I'm on 3.
I'm on 4.
There you go. Right. Burnley 1, Everton 3. The goal scorer for Burnley was Danny Ings. Who else?
Well done.
So I think most people got on. And Everton's goal scorers 2 for Samuel Eto'o and 1 for Romelu Lukaku.
Yo, clean house. Okay.
Tokyo wins it this week.
Get in there.
You're lucky Rodriguez wasn't here because you'd have beaten him by 6. So yeah, that concludes our show, ladies and gents. We've done an hour and a half. All of us are burnt out at the moment. I think only Double D's the only one working off of adrenaline at the moment.
Definitely.
It's because he's eating chicken.
There you go. Right. Let's do our shout outs. Jan, what's your Twitter handle?
I don't like Lukaku.
You can't. That's a lie because you can't have that one. That's probably been taken by Lukaku's brother. So.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
That's nothing.
Yannick is
Jay.
Double D.
At Double D, that's DUBULDEE, but the show's handle is at DD Footy Factory _.
And where can we listen to your very lovely voice? I was going to say dulcet tones. That's not fair.
Goodness me. On Top FM, 95.5 FM in London. Outside London, probably best to pick it up on the TuneIn app. And that's a Saturday morning at 10 a.m.
There you go. South London, nosebleed territory for me. Right. Kojo.
Yes. Yeah, you can find me personally on Twitter as Coach Kojo. And yeah, you can find me on BBC, so I'm going to start using that actually. And Free Midfield's Twitter handle is Free Midfield. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and what's the other one? FNX Network. And Footy Says. Shout out Footy Says as well. You can find them on YouTube, Footy Says. Twitter, Footy_says.
Excellent. Mr. Connor.
Yeah, I'm at Connor Dunford 1 on my personal, and then the Playmakers is _Playmakers FC. And yeah, we're on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, plugging it everywhere really.
There you go. We're on Twitter at Shoot Defense. We're also on the FNX network, same as Three Midfield, same as Footy Says, same as Playmakers, same as One Up Front, same as Sofa Sports News, same as the Football Fans podcast.
Yep.
And that's it for us this week. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure having you all on. We'll be back at some point very soon, I hope. So until next time, guys, take care. Adios.
That's thanks, man.
And that's it, ladies and gents. We are. Hang about. No, we're not. We're not done yet because I haven't hit stop broadcast.